So, down in Trinidad and Tobago, a huge storm is brewing over the very future of money. The government is on a collision course with its own tech innovators, and it's pitting national security directly against economic progress. And let me tell you, this is about way more than just crypto. It's really a battle for the country's entire digital future. I mean, just think about that for a second. What if your country decided to just hit pause on the future of money? Well, this isn't some hypothetical question. A new law being proposed aims to do exactly that, putting the whole digital asset industry on ice, and, as you can imagine, setting off alarms all across the tech and business world. This law is called the Virtual Assets and Virtual Asset Service Providers Bill of 2025. And what it's proposing is, honestly, pretty breathtaking. We're talking about a near total ban on all crypto services, basically freezing the entire industry solid until the end of 2027.
All right, so what is this VASP bill, really? Let's get into the fine print, because trust me, the devil is absolutely in the details here.
Okay, so the bill's main target is something called a VASP, or a Virtual Asset Service Provider. Now, that might sound super technical, but don't get hung up on the acronym. The definition they're using is incredibly broad. It covers crypto exchanges, digital wallet providers, you name it. It's basically the entire foundation of the country's digital economy. And when we talk about the scope of this prohibition, wow, it is staggering. It covers pretty much every single thing you can think of. Want to swap your crypto for Trinidadian dollars or US dollars? Nope, banned. Trade one crypto for another? Banned. Even just holding or moving digital assets for a client? Yeah, that's prohibited too. This is a complete and total shutdown. And they're not wasting any time either. The timeline here is aggressive. As soon as this thing passes, the clock starts ticking. Existing businesses get just 1 month to tell the Securities and Exchange Commission they exist, and then only 3 months to shut it down completely. And this pause is scheduled to last until the very end of 2027. Also, regulators can try to build a new framework from scratch. And you better believe the government is backing this up with some serious teeth. The penalties for not following the rules are severe. We're talking about fines that can go all the way up to $5 million. And on top of that, directors of these companies could be looking at up to 5 years in prison. And get this, for every single day an offense continues, they can tack on another $500,000 penalty. I mean, these aren't just slaps on the wrist. They're designed to make it absolutely impossible to operate. Okay, so you're probably asking, why on earth would they do something so drastic? Well, let's look at the government's side of the story. From their point of view, this isn't about killing technology. It's about hitting the brakes for safety and control. And this quote from the Minister of Finance really gets right to the heart of their argument. The official line is that the industry is basically the Wild West right now, and that it's being used for money laundering and other crimes. So this bill is being framed as a necessary move to fight crime. So when you break it down, their reasoning has a few key parts. First, combat crime. Second, protect regular people from getting caught in scams. Third, they need to get in line with international anti-money laundering standards. And finally, and this is a big one, they just want to buy themselves some time to figure out how to actually regulate this incredibly complex industry. So who's in charge of making this new framework happen during the so-called pause? Well, it's these two agencies, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, and the Financial Intelligence Unit, the FIU. Their job is to go back to the drawing board, do a full national risk assessment, and build a whole new set of rules from the ground up, all ready for when the market eventually reopens. But as you can probably guess, that is not how the local tech and business community sees it. Not at all. For them, this isn't a cautious pause. It's a giant, damaging step in the wrong direction. And you can really feel the frustration in this quote from a local fintech CEO. He says this ban is taking them right back to the same situation with basically nothing to look forward to until 2028. The feeling is that this just slams the brakes on all progress and ignores all the expertise that's already in the country. And industry experts are warning that, instead of solving problems, this ban could actually create a whole bunch of new, even worse ones. In a country that's always short on US dollars, crypto has become a crucial lifeline for small businesses and students. They're worried this will just make that crisis worse, kill homegrown startups, push everything underground into a black market, and cause a brain drain as tech talent just leaves the country.
So you see this massive disconnect, right? It's like the government and the industry are watching two completely different movies. The government says we want to stop crime and protect people, but the industry says you're just going to push it underground and make it more dangerous. The government wants a safe market for the future, but the critics are saying by the time you get there, the future will have already passed you by.
Okay, so if a total ban is off the table for critics, what's the alternative? What should they be doing instead? This is where the conversation gets really constructive. And let's be really clear about this. The people against the bill are not asking for a lawless Wild West market. They actually want regulation. What they're asking for is just a smarter way to do it, one that involves collaboration, not a complete shutdown. And they've got a whole list of practical ideas. Things like a regulatory sandbox where companies can safely test new products, or having different levels of licenses so a tiny startup isn't treated the same as a huge exchange. But the big idea running through all of this is to work with the industry to figure this out, not against it. And the potential payoff for doing it right could be huge. Some experts are estimating that a smart regulatory approach could bring in an extra 40 to 50 million US dollars a year from remittances alone. That's real money, not to mention new tech jobs and foreign investment. A lot of economic opportunity that could just be left on the table. So when you step back and look at the big picture, this goes way beyond just one bill. Trinidad and Tobago is really at a crossroads, facing a massive decision about its economic future. The VASP bill really lays out two very different paths forward. One is the path of extreme caution. Let's just pause everything and try to eliminate all the risk. The other path is a regulated embrace of innovation, one that says, let's manage the risk so we can compete on the world stage. And that really is the heart of the matter, isn't it? How does a country protect its citizens without completely sidelining itself from the future economy? Whatever they decide, the answer is going to have huge consequences for their economy and their innovators for years to come.